Adding extra versions into a project. When we showed you how to set up your project initially, you had to create a first version of your product. Every project has to have at least one version, but you can have up to 6, which will allow you to compare different scenarios. It could be change of materials, different location for distribution, a number of different things you might want to change. So Sustain allows you to do this, and it allows you to create, as I say, up to 6 versions. So to add a version, there are 2 ways of doing it, but both start by clicking the Add Version button. You can create a version totally from scratch, or you can create a version based on one which already exists. Now, we'll do this from scratch one first. So I click I want to enter all new details, click Continue, and I'm presented with the same screen as I was when I was initially setting up my project and had to create the first version. So we do this in exactly the same way. Let's say version 2 free text. Again, you can put anything you like in the description, that's free text. Just as before, how many will you be making for this particular project, this particular version? It doesn't affect your results because Sustain gives you the impact of a single item. That's how it works. So an aide-memoire really, let's say 1,000. And again, just as before, is this an actual product that will be made, or is this a what if scenario? Once these are created, you could go back in and change these anyway if they do become a production item. But let's say it is a production item. This particular version will be made in the UK. I think version 1 in this project is made in China. And let's say UK is for the customer as well. Again, as before, a default distance is entered by road because this is what most journeys would be by road in the UK for delivery. 100 miles is the default, but you might know it's different. So let's say in this particular case, it's 250. And again, as before, I could put extra stages in here if they were relevant, if I was going to a different country, for example. So once all those are created, again, the final piece of info you have to put in is the quantity of products per vehicle or container. This is used in a calculation, so it needs to be input here. And again, this is as you ship the product. So let's say this particular version is a flat pack version of version 1, and maybe I get twice as many in a container. So in this situation, we'll say 200. So that's all the information I need. Click Save. Go back to my overview, and you see I now have a second version which can be edited and dealt with just the same as the first version. The other way of creating a version is to copy. So if I say I want to copy, I've now got 2 choices. Let's say I want a copy of version 2. So this is where you might, 2 versions may be very, very similar and only need a small change in the information. So it stops you having to put it all in from scratch and just allows you to create one and then quickly edit any changes. So click Continue, and as you can see, I've now got a copy of the last one. I can also change the title, so let's now call it version 3. Description I can change all these. I can also upload images to versions. So again, this is used in the results. It shows what the item is. It's just a visual aid. So I may want to stick a picture in here. So let's say we'll use the Popeye Sustainability logo. Click Save, and this is now an image. Now that you can do this for all versions, so this is something you can do for every version. So once you've created that and you're happy that all that is correct, you click Save. And again, if I go back to my overview, I now have 3 versions. So that's how you create extra versions within a project in Sustain.